Hey everyone, it's Kabir here. So in last session we have started the JavaScript and we understood a little bit about JavaScript. Like just we have introduced what is JavaScript, and apart from that, we just understood like what syllabus, like what content are we are going to cover in this particular series. And I have explained you what is modern stack, mean stack, Maven stack, and what can you do with the help of JavaScript. Like once if you have learned the JavaScript, then what are the fields that will be open for you, right? So you can be a mobile application developer, front-end developer, full stack developer. Full stack is nothing but mon stack or mean stack, something like that. You can develop something machine learning applications, IoT applications, all that, right? So today we are going to understand about the first concept in our JavaScript, that is nothing but variables. Now, what is variables, right? Now, whenever you are going to write a program or you're going to design a website, right? Now you get a requirement where you have to store the data. Like you want to store the name of that person, or you wanted to display the name, first name, some entire details of that person in your website, right? So before displaying that, first of all you have to store that data somewhere, right? That storage of the data is nothing but your variable. Now in different programming languages it has a different approach. Like if you compare to the Java, now they have different process to store the data, whereas when you come to the JavaScript it is little bit different from your Java or C Sharp or Python, right? Now internally, what do you mean by storing the data? Now storing the data is nothing but, just consider you have, this is your application, right? Now in this application you wanted to display a name, like I wanted to display something like Ismart edutech. Now I wanted to display this particular uh, text in my application. So first of all I have to store this particular text somewhere, right? Now that's why what I'm gonna do in my application, I will just create one variable. So I will be telling something like var something like name equals to Ismart edutech. Okay, now this particular syntax is called declaration, whereas your this var is going to consider as your data type. Now this name is going to consider as your reference name, and in this reference you are storing iSmart edutech. Now what internally will happen? In internally a memory is going to be created. Okay, something like this memory is going to be created. In that memory you are going to store this kind of data. So what I'm doing, I'm just storing this data. So this data is stored in your memory. Okay, now this memory will have some address, right? Now that address is nothing but some hexadecimal kind of number you will have. Okay, just consider something like something like this. You have this address, right? Now this address will be stored in the name. So this particular address will be stored in the name variable, that is nothing but 457, something like some kind of number, right? Some kind of number. Now whenever you are going to execute this particular program, right, now your OS will just come first, not OS, like your JavaScript engine will come and just it will see this particular statement var name. So whenever it is going to see the name, now inside name what memory is like, I mean to say which address is located, it is going to search. So this kind of something address it is located. Now it is going to go in your memory and it is going to search this address. Now it is going to find here this particular address. Now in this address what kind of data has been stored, it is going to see. So it has been stored something like iSmart edutech, right? Now it is going to print iSmart edutech. Now for example, now you are trying to print this particular data. So what you are going to be doing, like console dot log and something like name. So whenever it comes here name, then it will search what address of your memory has been stored in the name. So it is something like 457 hash something, then it is going to go to your memory location and it will search that address. Then it find that particular address. Now in that address what value has been stored, it will just search, okay, this what the value has been stored. Now in output it is going to print this particular value. Now this is what happens internally when you are going to declare a variable. Simple steps. So guys, so whenever you are going to say something like var name, so name, right? So some memory is going to be allocated and this memory will have some address, means some kind of hexadecimal number, some number, right? Now this particular address has been stored in this name, inside name variable. Now what you are storing here, suppose you are storing something like 4, then this 4 is stored in this particular memory. Now whenever you wanted to print a name, now you wanted to print this name as console.log and you wanted to print the value, right? Now whenever you wanted to print the value, then it is going to search what address has been stored in the name. So it is something like 5252 hash g2. Then it is going to go to your memory and it will search that address. Okay, now it found the address. Now in this particular location, what value has been stored, it is going to see. So it is a 4. So now it is going to print your output as a 4. Now this is the use, like this is what happens internally. Now you have different kinds of data. Now what are the different kinds of data? Now you have the string kind of data. You can store some kind of number data, some Boolean kind of data. Okay. Now you can store date. Now you can store some kind of float, nothing but decimal kind of data. Okay, now what is the string? Now whatever characters or sentences you wanted to write in the alphabet or the combination of a number, that is going to consider as a string if you write some data in double quotes. Means if you write any kind of data in double quotes. Now it might be a character, number or anything. For example, I am writing 2. Now 2 is not considered as a number. Now it is going to be considered as a string. So whatever you are going to write in double quotes, that is going to be considered as a string. Now, what is number? Now number is very clear. It's like 1, 2, 3, your natural numbers. Okay. But not decimals, only natural numbers. Now what is Boolean? Now Boolean is simple. It has only two values, that is true or false. It might be true or it might be false. Now if you wanted to store your date, right? Now date will have a separate format. So if you wanted to store a date, then you can store in a date data type. In the same way, what is decimal? This is nothing but in the decimal format. Like if you wanted to store something like 2.5 or something like 5.5, such kind of data. If you wanted to store, now it will be stored in the decimal. So whenever you are going to create an application, in your application you might get a requirement where you have to display or you have to store different kind of data. Now just consider whenever you are going to build a registration form, right? Now first name is a string, right? Now if you wanted to take that user's date of birth, then it will be in the date format. You wanted to take his mobile number, which will be in the number format, right? Now if you wanted to take some kind of like marks or marks, right? Some like not marks, like you might wanted to take the percentage of a student, right? Now it will be something like 52.75%, like sometime like in that sense you will take as a decimal as a data type. And much more things like if you wanted to consider status, like the person is married or unmarried, so here you will be taking the values like Boolean values. If he's married, it's true or false, something like that you are going to write logically. So these data types are mandatory. As of now, just you remember that you know what is string, which will be in the double quotes, a number which will be normally 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of, and booleans and date and decimal. Now let us come to our VS Code. Now let's try to understand it, right guys? Now you get a requirement where you have to store the name of your client. So the name it sense it should be string, right? So you will be taking var. As of now, just remember var is something like data type which is going to accept any kind of data. It might be string, it might be number or any type. Var a. Now you are saying that in a we are going to store some name, something like hello. Okay, now you have stored some kind of string inside a. Inside a is nothing but inside a you will have the address of your memory. At that particular address a memory is created. In that memory hello has been inserted, hello has been stored, right? Now what is this var? Now var is going to tell which kind of data it is. It is a string or it is a number, it is a float. Now why they have divided the data in different types? Because whenever this particular data is going to store in your memory, now for a different data type it is going to take different size of memory. Now for string it might take some kind of size, for number it might take some kind of size. What kind of size is nothing but the space it is going to occur to store this particular value. If for as a rough figure, just consider I wanted to store string, then for string it will create this much space. Now just consider it is going to take a number, right? Now for number it will have some defined memory, it will create this much memory. Now this memory and this memory are different, so according to data we have to utilize proper data type. Now your JavaScript is not a strict, means it is not going to consider whether you have declared the data type of your data or not. But when it comes to Java or C sharp, you have to explicitly declare. Means if I wanted to declare this particular hello, then I cannot write something like var a. I have to write like string a equals to hello. So you are saying that, now you are saying that so this is a capital S. Now you are saying that this particular AB is going to store a value called hello. Now this hello is a string type. So if it's a string type, you have to allocate this much memory. If it is a number, you have to allocate this much memory. Now that's the point what you have to do, guys, right? Now as of now, just you have to remember these main things. Okay, fine. Now we are getting the error because there is some faults, right? You will be understanding this in the future sessions. So as of now, just understand, if you take var, it is going to accept any kind of data type. Now if I can write something like var b equals to 3, but same thing if you write in your Java or C sharp, it is going to give error. In the same way, I wanted to give some Boolean values, so I'm going to say var status, so it's equal to true or false. Now this is called Boolean type. Now in the same way, you wanted to define some decimals, so you are going to say var percentage, something like percentage, it will be equals to something like 98.5 something. Okay, now this is a string, this is a number, this is a Boolean, and this is your decimal kind of thing, right? Now one more data type we have, that is called undefined. Undefined means we don't know what kind of data is going to come, it is not defined. That is the meaning of your data type. Now let us test all this, right? Now I wanted to print the value of a, so what I will be doing, simply I will be saying like console dot log of a. So when I'm giving the variable a, now it is going to search in the memory what value has been stored inside this a memory. It's a hello, so it is going to print hello. So just let me say node file name, it's like something like first. Now we have printed hello. Now I wanted to print b, right? So just what you have to say, just copy console.log and you have to say b. Now it is printed 3 as well, right? Now hello 3. In the same way, you wanted to print this status, right? So just copy these two things and here you have to say something like status, and here you need to say percentage. Now just say node first. Now all the values has been printed. Now if you give without any quotation inside this log, right, then it is going to print the value of that particular variable. Now this is called variable. A is called variable, var is called actually data type, means in this variable A which kind of data you are storing. So you are telling that I am storing string kind of data in A. Now this is a B, right? Now what kind of data you are storing? You are storing number kind of data inside a B variable. This is called variable, this is called your data type, and this is called your value. Now if you are uncertain, like you don't know what kind of value it is going to come, so you are going to declare something like var marks. Now you don't know what kind of value is going to come, so let us see what it is going to print. Just say console dot log and just say marks, save it, come here, execute. Now you are able to see undefined, means you have not defined what value it is going to come. Now if you want to find, like for example, you wrote something like var name equals to something like this one. Now you don't know what is the type of data, you have confused. Now you know that okay, whatever I am going to write inside double quote, it is going to be considered as a string, but here I have the numbers, so you might get confused. Now you wanted to know exact what is the data type of this name, so for that we have one operator called type of. So you have to say type of, right? Type capital O F small f of. So if you wanted to find, just say type of name. Now you wanted to print this one, right? So what you will say, just console dot log, and inside this you have to write this one. Just copy this particular thing, remove from here and just paste here. Now type of is a operator, like kind of operator, which is going to tell what is the data type of your variable name. So I'm going to just node first. Now we got an error. This is type of. Now it is going to say it is a string kind of data type. Now in the same way, I have declared one more thing like var something like r, just I'm not giving any name, just r equals to, I'm going to say true. Now you don't know exactly what this true is. Is it Boolean data type or what kind of data type? So just you have to copy same thing, copy, and just you have to paste here. And now instead of name, just you have to say r, save it. Now come here, node first. Now you understood it's a Boolean. So up to now, just you understood what is variable. It is a some kind of space or some kind of reference where you are going to store some value. So internally, whenever you are going to say var a equals to hello, some memory is created. In that memory, this hello is stored. Now this memory will have some address. That address is stored in A. Now whenever the control comes here, right, console.log A, now it wanted to execute A. Now your JavaScript engine doesn't know what kind of value it has. So whenever you are going to say A, then it will search what is the address stored in A. Now it is going to find that address, then it is going to go to the memory and it is going to search for that address. Now once it find that address, now it is going to see in that particular memory what value it is stored. Now what we have stored something like hello, then it is going to print that hello. Now this is what happens internally. Now this concept is very important, guys. You have to understand how it is storing, what is variable, what is a, what is hello. Then I'm saying console.log a, what internally happens. Everybody says okay, console.log a is nothing but it is going to print hello, but we should not learn something like that. You should know what console.log, like internally what happens. If I am creating some variable, internally what is happening. So always try to learn internals whenever you are going to learn some concepts, right? You have to understand internally what it is doing. If you know internally what it is doing, it is very easy for you guys to code anything. If you get a particular requirement, then you can code very easily because you know internals, you know how it works, right? Then you can easily go for that requirement. Or else someone has built some requirement, he got some error, now he doesn't know what this error is, okay, and why this error he is getting, because he doesn't know internally what is happening. He might be doing some mistakes, right? So if you know internally, now you can analyze why that error is occurred or where that error is occurred. These two things answer you are going to get. So try to always learn internals. So this is about your variables and data types, right? Now we have something like operators. Now something operators is nothing but if you wanted to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all that kind. So what are the operators? We have arithmetic operations, that is nothing but plus, addition, minus, subtraction. You have multiplication, which is denoted as a star here. Then you have division, which is denoted by the slash. Now if you wanted to do addition of two numbers like 2 plus 5, the answer should be 7, right? Now this is the requirement. Now if you wanted to use this 2, so first of all you have to store this 2 in some memory, right? Now if you wanted to store this in a memory, then you have to create a memory. Okay, this is the first thing. So let's create a memory for this 2. So I'm going to say var and I'm going to say a. So I have created some memory and I'm storing 2. Okay, I have stored the 2. Now in the same way, let me take it as a a1. Okay, now in the same way, I wanted this 5 in my program. So first of all, I have to give some memory to this. So how can I give the memory? So var some a2 equals to, in this a2 memory, I'm going to store 5. Okay, now I have to do addition. So how can we do addition? Simple, a1 plus a2. Now whenever you are going to say a1 plus a2, you are going to get a result like 7. So if you get that result, again this 7 also you have to store somewhere, right? So for that also we have to create a memory. So I am creating a memory where a equals to a1 plus a2, or else just I will say r1, nothing but result, right? Now where r1 equals to a1 plus a2 means whenever you are going to add 2 plus 5, then you are going to get result 7. That 7 also you are storing somewhere in your memory, because something is there in your memory, that then only you can print that or you can access that. Now your 7 is in your memory, now you can print it. So how you will be doing? Console dot log. Now you wanted to print the value of r1, so r1. Now just remove this one, save it, come here and execute. Now you got the 7. Now just consider you didn't give this particular variable r1. Now you are trying to save it and you are trying to execute it. Now you got an error, r1 is not defined, right? R1 is not defined because memory is not allocated for this r1, so it is not able to find that r1, right? That's why we got the error. The flow is simple. Just it will come to the console.log R1. It will search R1. There is no memory, right? There is no address. So it is going to throw you the error. So like this, you have to think and you have to analyze the problem. You have to understand the requirement and you have to do. This is the one thing. So you understood what is addition. In the same way, if you wanted to perform subtraction, right? Now you wanted to perform subtraction. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this as a 12 and this as a 5. Now 12 minus 5. Okay, so instead of plus, we are going to give minus. Now save it, come here and just say node first. Now you got the value 7. Now if I change the value, save it, come here. Now you got the 8, right? Now if you wanted to do subtraction, then you have to give star. Now come here, execute. It's a 48, right? Now if you wanted to divide, just say slash. Now you got 3. Now we have one more that is called mod. A1 mod A2. That is nothing but you will get the remainder instead of quotient, instead of answer, you will get the remainder. So that thing we can see in some other session. So you have to understand as of now what are the variables, what is data type, why we have to create a memory, and why they give different type of data types. Like a is going to take some bytes, right? Sorry, string is going to take some kind of bytes. Your number will take some bytes. Like now your whatever bytes string has took, the same byte number will not take. It will have different byte location, right? In this way you have to understand. Now exactly how much it is going to take, I will be telling you in further sessions. So now you are going to, now in this session you have understood what is variables, what is data type, why they have divided the data types, why we have to create the variables, right? Now if you won't create variables, what will happen? If you create variables, what will not happen? In the same way, what are the arithmetic operations like plus, minus, subtraction, division? Now how you can perform? Now console.log is nothing but this is a function. Now what is function? It is going to do some task. It is going to do some action. Now what action? The printing the value of a is nothing but one action. So you have to provide some action to this console.log. So as of now, just remember it is a small function. If you wanted to print some output, you have to write inside this log function. Now it will be printed in your terminal. Okay, now we can see how, like in the future sessions we will be seeing how we can print this output in the browser. How can we attach our JavaScript file to the HTML file? How we can take some data from user and how we can print the same data in table format, in list format. So many things we will be learning, but step by step. And the basics are very, very, very important, guys. You have to understand these basics. It might be like looking very silly, it's very easy, but if you ignore this one, when it comes to main concept, okay, when it comes to a complex concept, then this base is required. Now if you don't know how to analyze the things, how internally it is performing, then it will be very difficult for you guys to understand that complex concepts. Like you will be confused. Then you have to just remember, okay, this is how this is will happen, this is will happen. And even if you remember, you will forget somewhere and you will be always in the confusion. So always try to analyze the things. That's the one thing I wanted to say, you guys, right? Now as of now, just we have understood the small things. So I'm going to end the session today here. This is the just introduction classes. Like yesterday we have the first class, today we had the second class. That's it, guys, right? So guys, just try to revise HTML, CSS, Bootstrap. Okay, the people who are new to our channel, I would advise you guys to go through our playlist where we have made the videos and you can learn HTML, CSS and Bootstrap. It will be very, very useful for these sessions. Okay, and from next sessions, the sessions will be long. It will be because when we start programming, when we start writing programs, it might go 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 1.5 hours. Now it's the initial stage, so just I'm taking 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. Okay guys, thank you guys for watching my video.